And if I told you that Diddy is no longer the same, something happened, and it wasn't just a behavioral change. He disappeared for days, and when he came back, it was strange, different. Mechanical movements, lost look, and enigmatic phrases live on TV. Now investigations point out that he may have been the victim of a secret mental control experiment. And worse, this can just be the beginning of an even bigger plan. Would the New World Order be testing brain chips to manipulate not only celebrities, but all of us? Prepare yourself, because what you will see now can change everything you thought you knew. It was a common night in the universe of Diddy. Luxurious festures, celebrity, filled mansions, and an endless flow of power and influence. But suddenly, something has changed. Diddy disappeared. Current sources say that for days he was not seen at public events, not even by his closest friends. Your phone, always active, was in complete silence. No posts, no trail. The unexpected disappearance raised suspicions. For someone so involved with the backstage of the music industry, disappearing like this, without explanation, was something unusual. When finally reappeared, something was different. Witness reports indicate that Diddy looked like out of his own. Her look, usually sharp and charismatic, was lost, almost as if he was trying to remember who he really was. During a closed event, the few who managed to get close to him noted a strange behavior. Long breaks before answering questions, a vague look and slightly mechanical movements, as if calculating each gesture. Security cameras recorded a disturbing moment. Upon leaving a meeting with influential business figures, Diddy was still at the entrance of the building for about 17 seconds, just looking at nothing, before blinking repeatedly and moving on. Something happened during your disappearance. But what? Between theories of a spiritual retreat, a nervous collapse, or even internal threats within industry, a darker possibility began to emerge. Diddy was subjected to a secret procedure. There were those who suggested that he could have been taken to a clandestine place, where mental control experiments were performed. Connections with the global elite have only made history even more sinister. Many of those who disappear in this middle come back different. Altered behaviors, reprogrammed thoughts. Diddy may have just been another name on this long list. The idea of mental control has always been treated as a conspiracy delirium, until leaked documents revealed that technology to manipulate thoughts not only exists, but has been tested. Researchers linked to DARPA, U.S. Advanced Defense Research Project Agency, have released secret experiments involving brain chips, microscopic devices capable of influenced human behavior. The official justification? Advances in medicine and the treatment of neurological diseases. But files indicate something much darker. These chips could be used to suppress memories, modify decisions, and even reprogram someone's mind. The parallels with the old CIA manipulation projects are inevitable. During the 1950s and 1970s, the MKUltra project used drugs, hypnosis, and psychological torture to shape individuals and transform them into agency tools. Later, evidence of the Monarch project emerged, an alleged operation to program celebrities as puppets of the global elite. What if the goal was always to reach something more advanced, something capable of controlling a person without even realizing it? Recent studies reveal that electrical impulses can be used to stimulate certain parts of the brain and influence thoughts. One of the most shocking experiments showed that rats with an implanted chip could be remotely controlled, following commands without question. Now imagine this being applied to humans. In recent years, several entertainment figures have shown sudden changes in behavior, soon after periods of disappearance or inexplicable crises. Britney Spears, Kanye West, Amanda Bynes. Everyone went through moments of instability and then returned as other people. Would it be coincidence or a pattern? And Diddy? If he really went through something like this, the consequences can be terrifying. Does he still have control over himself? Or now is he just another soldier of the New World Order? Diddy came back, but something wasn't right. To the inattentive eyes, he looked the same. But for those who analyzed the signs, the evidence was there. So-called gestures, unusual patterns of behavior, and encrypted messages. The first evidence came in a live interview. Diddy was being questioned about his new phase when he suddenly began to blink his eyes repeatedly, touching his forehead insistently. For some, this could just be a nervous tic, but for those who study mental programming, these are clear signs of a glitch in the system. That's not all. During a transmission on social networks, he interrupted his own reasoning and said vaguely and enigmatically, "This is no longer a game." The phrase, apparently without context, lit a warning. A code? A relief request? This kind of behavior has been seen before. Britney Spears, when she went through her public collapse, also made meaningless gestures and statements that were later interpreted as attempts to draw attention to her situation. Kanye West, in his famous outbreak against the industry, flashed insistently and touched his face over and over before making disturbing revelations. For conspiracy theorists, these gestures and lines are not accidental. They are part of a standard. Public figures, possibly under control, trying to alert the world without arousing the wrath of those who monitor them. The scariest case, however, happened at a private event. Witnesses claim that Diddy was surrounded by high-ranking executives when he suddenly froze for about 30 seconds. His gaze was glazed, his expression unchanged. When he returned to him, he blinked several times, smiled uncomfortably, and said, "I'm sorry, I lost the thread." If this were an isolated incident, it could be ignored. But when you look at the history, a sinister pattern emerges. What if Diddy were trying to fight something implanted inside him? What happens to those who try to escape this system? Diddy's mansion has always been the scene of legendary parties, but there is a difference between celebration and ritual. The night that everything changed, something obscure happened behind those doors. Reports of guests describe a strange, almost suffocating atmosphere. As soon as they arrived, their cell phones were confiscated, a loud recording. What would justify such a high level of secrecy? The few who risked talking about that night tells that at one point the mansion's lights repeatedly blinked, followed by absolute silence. The music stopped. Everyone looked around, confused. It was at this moment that Diddy disappeared from the view of the guests. Minutes later, he reappeared, but it wasn't the same. His gaze was distant, his strict posture. He headed to the center of the room, where a select group of individuals watched him closely. Witnesses claimed to have seen strange symbols on the walls, insignia associated with secret societies and occult cults. One of those present described the scene as an initiation ritual, where Diddy underwent a mysterious process that involved stroboscopic lights and low-frequency sounds, something that, according to experts, could be used to induce trance or mental reprogramming. A security guard who worked on the property that night stated that stuffy screams were heard from a locked room on the upper floor. Minutes later, the silence reigned again. The party followed as if nothing had happened. But Diddy was different. He didn't talk much. His gestures were mechanical. It was as if something had been turned off inside him. What happened in that room? If the suspicions are real, this may have been the night when he was no longer a free man and became a pawn within something much bigger. Diddy can just be another piece within a much larger game. Over the years, influential celebrities have been attracted, manipulated, and often destroyed by hidden forces that operate behind the scenes of the entertainment industry. But who controls the system? Research reveals that organizations such as Bohemian Grove, Illuminati, and UN itself have long-term plans to shape global thinking. The New World Order, a term previously relegated to conspiracy theories, now is openly mentioned by technology, political, and billionaires. The goal? Turn entertainment into a mass control tool. If an artist reaches a high level of influence, he needs to be indoctrinated or replaced. It is no coincidence that over the decades, several celebrities have undergone similar processes. Michael Jackson tried to expose the industry and soon after began to face legal problems and persecution. Kanye West challenged the powerful and shortly thereafter was taxed as unstable mentally. Britney Spears was controlled by her own family through a system that restricted her freedom. Now, it seems that Diddy may be on the same dark trail. Strange events in your mansion, their behavior change, and the possible signs of mental control indicate that it may have been chosen for a larger role. But the question that remains is, to serve. It is rumored that the global elite has been testing reprogramming technologies in public figures before expanding them to the general population. If Diddy has been subjected to this process, it means that this plan is already in advanced phase. The New World Order has always worked in the shadows, but what if now they no longer need to hide? If what happened to Diddy is true, it means that the experiment has gone beyond celebrities. The New World Order may be testing mental control on public figures before applying it to the large-scale population. The signs are everywhere. For years, governments and megacorporations have been trying to implement technologies that track and influence human behavior. Today, these initiatives are more advanced than ever. Neuralnk's brain chips promise to revolutionize the connection between humans and machines, but experts warn of the risk of manipulation. The advance of artificial intelligence allows the creation of algorithms that learn and anticipate people's decisions. The use of global digital identification by organizations such as UN raises questions about a possible total monitoring system. If the elite already has the ability to modify the behavior of an influential billionaire like Diddy, which prevents them from doing this to anyone? Many believe this is just the beginning. The testing phase may have already ended. Now the implementation of the total control of the human mind may be closer than ever. Whether through cerebral chips, low-frequency radiation, or artificial intelligence, the truth is that we are moving to a world where thoughts may no longer be ours. Diddy may have tried to resist. It may have left clues, but if he doesn't talk soon, will they silence him before the truth surfaced? And the question is, if they already have this technology, who will be next?